Is this the ultimate Formula style rim for your Fanatec wheelbase? Stay tuned. What's up everybody and welcome to the Sim channel. Let's make this a quick one. We'll skip just about anything software related and go straight to the hardware. This quick review is structured as a list of the individual features of the wheel with timestamps in the description for easy navigation. And since it's a quick review, let's not waste any time. With a 27 cm diameter, this rim comes at a regular size for rims in Formula cars. That's actually pretty small, which means the force at your hands will be noticeably stronger than, for example, with a 32 cm rim. You'll be quicker in correcting mistakes, and due to its butterfly shape, your hands will always stay in that 9 and 3 position. Great for open wheelers and other cars with a low steering ratio, and absolutely the wrong choice for anything that requires shuffling the wheel. The rim has a real 5mm carbon fiber plate on the front and decent quality plastics on the back. You won't have any flex in the rim, and it looks pretty cool, even though I could do without some of the stylized plastic bits on the front. The Alcantara wrapping on the handles feels very nice and gives you a good amount of grip when using racing gloves. If you eventually wear out the Alcantara, you can simply replace the handles instead of the whole wheel. But I do wish the handles were a little thicker, as I tend to cramp up my hands trying to hold them tight when using high forces on the DD1. Also, under the Alcantara they're made of plastic, and squeezing them will result in a little bit of flex. You won't really notice this while driving, but on a €370 rim it can be pointed out. The vibrators inside the handles can be used to provide additional information to the driver, like brake lockup or a reminder to shift up. They feel similar to the vibrators you find in gamepads, and as such aren't exactly improving the sense of realism. They're also easily drowned out by a DD wheelbase's curb rattle. If the new Fanatec Podium software features a decent integration with the game physics, they could become more usable, but from what I could get them to do with Fanalets, I don't find them particularly helpful. Shift lights. They work and they're bright enough for use in bright daylight. I like them. Flag lights or marshalling LEDs are kinda rare on sim steering wheels, but a nice thing to have in games that support this feature. The OLED display is pretty helpful when changing the wheelbase settings, as it's more explanatory than the older alarm clock style LEDs. During gameplay, it'll show you the speed and gears by default. You can also configure this in the Fanalets app on PC, but at least on my end, that one seems to be very buggy and I couldn't set it up to do anything useful for me. Let's hope there's similar functionality in the upcoming Fanatec Podium software to make even more use of the display. The shift pedals are made of aluminum and feel pretty good and solid. However, haptically it's a simple spring mechanism, and the click you hear is not a click you feel. When you're using headphones, it's just gone. This can lead to misshifts, as you're not getting a precise feedback on when the gearshift has been triggered in-game. On a rim of this price, I think we could expect a little more. For PC racers, the standard Xbox button caps are pretty useless, and the replacement caps don't make a lot of sense either in my opinion. Luckily, removing them is not an issue and will even make the rim look better. The buttons themselves are pretty good. They have a little bit of play, and each one sounds a little different when clicking, but they still feel solid and provide a nice positive click. The three on the bottom, however, require you to take your hands off the wheel to press them, and should have been located closer to the hands. I find the two nipples quite handy for ABS, traction control, brake balance and similar settings. They feel a little wobbly, but not like they're gonna break off any minute, and they have a decent click in both directions. You can also push them into the wheel, but I'm not sure why or what to do with that. There's no click and it doesn't register as a button in-game, at least not in the ones I've tried. Also, there is no official manual for this wheel listed on the website, so I have no way to know if I'm missing anything here. These are very light and it's difficult to operate them precisely even without gloves. With gloves on, not a chance. On top of that, they are positioned in a way that can make you turn them by accident when things get a little hectic in the cockpit. I certainly wouldn't put any important functionality on these, and I'd actually prefer not to have them on the wheel at all, or make them a lot harder to turn, and space the clicks further apart while we're at it. The rotaries on the center of the wheel require a good amount of force to be turned, and you won't change any settings by accident. The software lets you choose if you want to use them as up-down switches or send their absolute position as a single pulse upon change or as a constant signal. The latter functions need to be supported by the game though. And while you'll probably find even more premium feeling rotary switches out there, I'd say these are pretty good. Unfortunately, the middle one only serves to select some setting for the podium shifter module and has no function at all if you use the standard shifters. The analog stick on the left feels good and is useful to have for menus or to look left or right in game. Not all games support these though. The funky switch is made to change the settings of the wheelbase, but can be mapped to gameplay and menu functions as well. You can go left, right, up, down, push it in, and turn it, giving you everything you need to navigate the wheelbase's tuning menu with a single stick. It feels solid, and as you turn it, it only registers one step per notch, which should be a given, but sometimes isn't. All in all, I like the choice of materials and build quality, and so far I've had no major issues with reliability. Upon arrival, the communication between the wheel and PC, as well as the force feedback, would drop out for like a second once every 2 or 3 minutes. The solution, suggested by the Fanatec support, was to tighten the screws between the pins inside the quick release ever so slightly, and the issue hasn't turned up since, so fingers crossed. All in all, I'd say this is a pretty good wheel rim, and the asking price of 370 euros isn't completely crazy, but it isn't exactly a steal either. I can generally recommend it as a workhorse rim for open wheelers, but it's not perfect. So if you're on a tighter budget and you can get by with fewer buttons and switches, both the F1 Esports rim at 250 euros and the Formula Carbon rim at 300 euros are worth a look as well. Last but not least, if I were to make a few suggestions to Fanatec on how to improve the Formula Rim V2, I'd say offer thicker and slightly more solid feeling handles as an option, put on magnetic shifters by default, improve the thumb rotaries or get rid of them, place the buttons on the bottom closer to the hands, and make the center rotary dial programmable to in-game functions. And that's it for this quick review. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel for more sim racing content like this. Have a wonderful day and see you in the next video.